Hey, it's me. Welcome to East Texas Living. Have you often thought about moving to a different area? Well, if so, there's 5 red flags you need to be aware of when buying in a rural area. Here they are. Number one, you need to get a septic inspection. What's a septic? Well, a septic is where your potties and your drains all drain into, and that dirty water goes somewhere. Well, in rural areas, oftentimes that is a septic tank. And then the septic tank, which is usually 500, 750 gallon tanks in the ground, they have lines that go out of them and the water seeps out into the ground. The solids, the things we don't want to think about, they settle to the bottom of the septic tank and microbes eat them up over time. Now, the problem with septic tanks is out in the country is trees. Trees? Trees are on top of the ground. Roots are below. And so the roots grow into the septic lines, stopping those up. And often you start having the septic line broken in pieces, and then it starts backing up into your house. You don't want that. So before you buy out in the country, you need to find out, is this house on a septic? Does it have a septic tank and a septic line? How old is it? Is it on an aerobic system, which is a newer form? Most of the time, it will not be on your city septic, city sewer. It won't be like that. It'll be something that you really have to maintain. So get an inspection. Have somebody come out, take a look at it, and tell you if it's worth anything or if it's going to have to be fixed anytime soon. That's the number one thing. We don't want poop backed up in our house. Number two, what about the wiring? These older homes out in the rural areas, they've been there for years, oftentimes. And the wiring is old, made out of things that they don't even make electrical wiring out of anymore. So it's not even up to code. And many times, these places, older places, that the wiring has damage from rodents chewing on it. For some reason, rats like to chew on wires. So have the electrical system, your electrical outlets, your wiring, all that stuff checked out prior to buying this house. That's very important. You don't want to buy the house and then suddenly you have a fire. Number three, water. Now, water is very important. You can't go long without it. And you want to have clean water. And today, everybody's talking about water here and water there and clean water and chlorine and fluorine and fluoride and all that in the water system. But the truth is, long ago, a lot of people dug wells. And a lot of people still do out in rural areas. They dig water wells on their land if they have a good aquifer up under them. So you need to ask, is this house on a water well? And if so, where is it at? And you need to get it inspected. Water wells can become contaminated. They can also run dry. So you need to make sure that there is water in the well and that the water is clean enough for you to consume. Number four, not finally, you need to get a survey. Property lines can be unclear out in rural areas. That's because long ago, landowners owned large acres, swaths of land. And then over time, their descendants would sell off that land. And it's possible that in selling it off, the surveys weren't done right, or maybe Uncle Jack lives next door. So we're just going to leave the fence where it is, even though Uncle Jack does still own land on my side of the fence. And then Uncle Jack passes away, and I decide to sell. And the new people think that where the fence is a line. Well, that's not true. So get an accurate survey. Very important. And finally, cheap prices that feel too good to be true probably is. Sometimes you have older houses out in rural areas, and it could be where the house is sitting, and it makes the house cheap. I had some friends, they found this great place. It wasn't even an older place, it's in a rural area. It was perfect for them. It had a little bit of land, they could hunt on it. It had a nice mobile home on it that was large enough for their family. It was perfect. But 2 or 3 years prior, the place had flooded. Because if you just look around, it's in a floodplain. Now, if you're used to living out in rural areas and you're from rural areas, you will identify a low floodplain very quickly. The vegetation looks different, the land looks different. But if you're not used to looking at that, you're not aware of that, you could be paying a very cheap price for a nice piece of property only to find that at the next flood, your house is underwater. So find out why it's cheap. Does it have a lot of foundational issues? There's a reason it's cheap. Cheap and rural, they don't equal each other. Some of the most expensive houses are in rural areas. So don't don't let find yourself in that little mindset. Now there's other things that you need to look for, but those are 5 when you're buying in a rural area that maybe you wouldn't have to look for if you're buying in a subdivision, newer area, or a city. Okay? Remember, rural areas don't have codes like cities do. And we like that out in rural areas. We don't like people telling us how we have to build our house and how high we have to have this and how long we have to have this. We don't like that. We like to do our own thing and take care of our stuff, and we do it right. And despite what people think, out in the rural areas, we do call electricians real electricians, and we do call real plumbers out to do our septic and our electrical. So don't let that be one of those things that you miss. All right, this is East Texas Living. These are just 5 tips if you're going to move out into a rural area. My name's Tracy Mack Butler. I'm a local realtor here in East Texas, and if you're looking to buy a house out in rural America, specifically rural East Texas, give me a call. Let me help you. Let me be the one to help you find that home. And let me be the one to help you look for those 5 things and listen, a lot more that you need to be aware of when moving to the country. All right, check back with us for more videos later. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate that. This is probably only the 2nd video on this channel as of today. Um, and that's okay. We're all learning. I'm going to figure all this stuff out, and hopefully the next videos will be better. You have a great one. We'll see you in the next video.